What's up, everybody? Today I wanted to try to make a little video and turn on the camera and try to just speak some things that are on my mind. You know, as I've been thinking about it, I feel like us as gamers, we're eating pretty good lately. You know, I played the Battlefield 6 beta and I think they're actually doing pretty good. They're hitting some of the marks that we've been wanting for a while. You know, thinking about other games that are coming up in the future, we've got, Final Fantasy Tactics is coming up. Kingmakers is supposed to be coming out soon. If you are an old school gamer like me, the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remakes are coming out. That's pretty exciting. And let's be honest, I think we finally have a resolution to the console wars. Well, kind of. But Helldivers 2 is coming to Xbox, and they are actually doing a crossover with ODST. I mean, there's a lot to like, and I just wanted to make a quick video and express my excitement for some of the things that are coming out. So let's talk real quick about Battlefield 6. The beta just ended and it feels pretty good. It feels like a true and blue Battlefield game. The maps aren't quite as big as we were hoping for. Supposedly some large maps are coming at launch, but the destruction is back. The team play feels like it's there. There's some quirkiness that is Battlefield, but for the most part, it feels like a true on true Battlefield game. I'm excited. I haven't been this excited about a first-person shooter for a while, and so Battlefield seems like it's hitting the mark. I'm pretty jazzed. It's nice to have an alternative, besides Call of Duty. Now, that's not to say Battlefield 6 doesn't have its worrisome points, with EA trying to push for 100 million players with the online mode, no server browser going to be there at launch, and a couple other little wonky things that make you wonder, what they're going to be doing. If you've heard on this other video, wherever it pops up at, EA is trying to go for a Battlefield annual release model. Sounds like it's a few years out, but they're trying to copy Call of Duty, and I don't know that that's going to be awesome. But we'll see. Who knows? All in all, Battlefield 6 feels pretty awesome, and I'm super excited for October to get my hands on the full release. Now let's talk about the Final Fantasy Tactics remake or remaster or whatever you want to call it, but it's being re-released, and it's being released on various consoles and on PC. It's going to be in the Steam store, and it's going to have voice acting, it's going to have gameplay improvements, and obviously updated graphics. Now, I'm really excited for this because I played the crap out of the PlayStation version of this years and years ago. I've rebought it on various systems, I even have it on my phone and iPad, and it's one of my most favorite games from my youth. I've beat the crap out of it. I like to level up a lot, and so I would play the initial areas a lot, and I would sometimes work myself into a little trap where the enemies would outpace my gear and they'd be really hard. Anyways, I'm really excited for this to come back out and play it again. So it's a nice change of pace from Battlefield 6 and the first-person shooters. And, again, people are kind of wondering how it's going to hit. Maybe they're cutting some stuff out, lose maybe some of the initial magic that it had, but I can't complain. I'm getting one of my favorite games re-released again this year, and I get to experience on my computer and have updated visuals, some audio. I'm really excited about it, and, a good return back to my youth days of good memories of playing a fun video game. Along these same lines, the Dragon Quest 3, or as I grew up knowing it, Dragon Warrior 3 HD 2D remake came out. I got it for Christmas, played it. Again, another one of those games that I used to play back on the NES that I really loved has now been remastered and is now on PC and consoles, and it's more accessible. And so later this year, the remakes of the first and second game is also coming out. So again, maybe not as many people are excited about that, but for me and my nerdiness, for my youth, I'm really excited to get my hands on it. That coupled with Final Fantasy Tactics, I'm gonna be content with a bunch of RPG games to play for a while. Now, for this next one, I don't know if I've had my head in the sand or just wasn't paying attention, but I just found out that Plants vs. Zombies is doing a remaster of their original game with updated graphics, and apparently there's going to be a co-op option in it if you're playing locally. This is something that actually my dad has played a million hours of, and he's going to be excited about, but a cool little thing. And, you know, as a gamer through and through, it's pretty cool to see an updated, you know, Plants vs. Zombies game instead of them shoving down a new version of it that's trying to get monetized. And so this just feels like one of those nice little wins that we're getting as gamer, along with these other new releases that are coming out. So I thought you'd like to know. Now, the really big one that's coming out soon is the release of Helldivers 2 on Xbox. I don't know if we can officially say the console wars are over, but this sure feels like a huge step in the right direction. Today I saw the trailer for the release of the ODST Helldivers 2 Warbond crossover. Like, they're doing this right. This is what the fans wanted. They said, hey, if you're gonna bring it to Xbox, why not put the Halo universe in there and bring in the ODST and the Helljumpers? And, you know, they did it. Like, this is pretty good. You know, as a gamer, you have to be genuinely happy about what these developers are doing. Like, this is good stuff. Like, this is what we've been asking for years, is to cater to the fans. And what Helldivers 2 has done since it's come out is really that. And this just proves that, you know, even Sony and Microsoft can play nice together. And I'm sure they're going to make their buttloads of money, whatever. But they can work together and release something that the fans are genuinely ecstatic about. You know, this next one might not be as popular, but as someone who loves the Tom Clancy genre and the Division games specifically, they just teased Snow coming back to the Division world, which a lot of the community is thinking that the survival mode from the original game is going to make its way back into Division 2. You know, some people have said, oh, maybe this is a thought process for, you know, the Division 3 and they're trying to tease it. I don't know, I think it says DC on one of the screenshots. I think this is probably going into Division 2, and how awesome would that be, is one of the fan favorite modes from the first game is going to make its way back into Division 2. You know, one of the really unique things I thought about the first game was the ambiance that it had, you know, with the snow coming down, dark and kind of spooky. It really had a separate tone from what Division 2 has had. And so going back to the snow and the cold, and, you know, hopefully they do that same survival mode where you're surviving a blizzard and you have to get on different layers and get to the dark zone, do all that sort of stuff, would be really, really exciting. We've yet to see what exactly is going to come of it, but it sounds like it could be really awesome. And again, just, you know, like the Xbox and Sony thing, they're taking a note of the fans, and it sounds like they're giving the fans what they're asking for. So seeing this too as a Division fan, I'm like, man, this is great. I don't know much about it, but I feel like we're eating good. And if none of those games really tickle your fancy, perhaps you'd like to know that Elf on the Shelf is releasing a video game called Christmas Heroes. So if that's your jam, you got that to look forward to. All in all, it feels like this year we as gamers are getting a lot. You know, there's a lot of cool games coming out, a lot of cool games on the horizon. Recently, I feel like there's been some good games that have come out that have been really exciting and engaging. And it looks like, for the most part, we're getting what we're asking for. Maybe not always exactly how everybody wants. You can't please everybody all the time. But we've got some big wins coming our way, and I think it's kind of time that we celebrate those things. It's easy to be and moan about, you know, the game industry and this and that, but I think it's also okay to celebrate some of the wins. So let's celebrate Battlefield 6. I mean, with our fingers crossed, let's see what actually happens on release. I'm excited about Final Fantasy Tactics, the Dragon Quest games coming out, and shoot, Helldivers 2 blending with ODST and coming out on Xbox. Like, these are awesome things. Now is a good time to be a gamer, and I'm excited to see what's coming out. So thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by the channel. If you enjoyed this video, if you like the other content, please subscribe, please push the like, and I'll keep pumping out more videos. Thanks for swinging by, and we'll see you next time. Peace.